The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, and the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. He'd a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of claret velvet and breeches of brown doeskin. They fitted with never a wrinkle. His boots were up to the thigh, and he rode with a jewelled twinkle, his pistol butts a twinkle, his rapier hilt a twinkle under the jewelled sky. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed in the darkened yard. He tapped with his whip on the shutters, but all was locked and barred. He whistled a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter? Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. And dark in an old dark inn-yard a stable wicket creaked, where Tim the ostler listened. His face was white and peaked, his eyes were hollows of madness, his hair like mouldy hay. But he loved the landlord's daughter, the landlord's beautiful daughter. Dumb as a dog he listened, and he heard the robber say, "One kiss, my bonny sweetheart, I'm after a prize tonight, but I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply and harrow me through the day, look for me by moonlight. Watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." He rose up high in his stirrups. He scarce could reach her hand. She loosened her hair in the casement. His face burnt like a brand. As the sweet cascade of perfume came tumbling over his breast, and he kissed its waves in the moonlight, oh, sweet waves in the moonlight. He tugged at his rein in the moonlight and galloped away to the west. He did not come in the morning, he did not come at noon, when out of the tawny sunset before the rise of the moon, when the road is a gypsy's ribbon looping the purple moor, King George's men came marching, 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 marching. The redcoat troops came marching up to the old inn door. They said no word to the landlord, but they drank his ale instead, and they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of her narrow bed. Two of them knelt at her casement with muskets at their side. There was death at every window, and hell at one dark window, for Bess could see through her casement the road that he would ride. They bound her up to attention with many a sniggering jest. They bound a musket beside her with a muzzle beneath her breast. "Now keep good watch," and they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, "Look for me by moonlight. Watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." She twisted her hands behind her, but all the knots held good. She writhed her hands till her fingers were wet with sweat and blood. They stretched and strained in the darkness, and the hours crawled by like years, till at last, on the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it. The trigger, at least, was hers. The tip of one finger touched it. She strove no more for the rest. Up she stood at attention, with a muzzle beneath her breast. She would not risk their hearing. She would not strive again, for the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and bare in the moonlight, and the blood of her veins in the moonlight throbbed to her love's refrain. Clot, 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 the horse hoofs ringing clear. Clot, 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 in the distance were they mad. Clot, 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 in the distance were they deaf that they did not hear. Down the ribbon of moonlight over the brow of the hill, the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The redcoats looked to their priming. She stood up straight and still. Clot, clot in the frosty silence. Clot, clot in the echoing night. Nearer and nearer, Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment. She drew one last deep breath. Then her finger moved in the moonlight. Her musket shattered the moonlight. Shattered her breast in the moonlight. And warned him with her death. He turned, he spurred to the west. He did not know who stood, bowed with her head or the musket, drenched with her own red blood. Not till the dawn he heard it, and his face grew grey to hear how best the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight and died in the darkness there. Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him and his rapier brandished high. Blood-red were his spurs in the golden noon. Wine-red was his velvet coat. When they shot him down on the highway, down like a dog on the highway, and he lay in his blood in the highway, with a bunch of lace at his throat. And still, on a winter's night, they say, when the moon is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, a highwayman comes riding, riding, riding. A highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clatters and clashes in the darkened yard. He taps with his whip on the shutters, but all is locked and barred. He whistles a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but Bess, the black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. Taxi.